something I've wanted to do was take just a regular hammer handle. This one's got green paint on it. Strip this all off, this paint, and then strip off that, it's like a wax coating that comes with a hammer when you get it from a store. And clean these up. I painted these white because I have other kids who use my hammers, and they're buying their own tools now, so I like to keep them separate. So instead of writing Dad and magic marker, permanent marker, I think it'd be cool just to go ahead and carve them up, and then the kids would know which ones are mine. I have older boys, they would know which one's mine. And then also just be cool to have, so anyone has carpenter's tools and you just want to embellish them, you could wood burn them, you could Dremel them, you know, put some carvings into them. I just think I'm just going to wood burn some cool designs in them, and that way they know it's mine. So if you're on a job site, people know it's yours. No just scraping off your paint or painting over it. Be a little harder to do. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Alright, so first I've got to take off some of this. I started right here, got a little bit taken off. Take off that shiny like coating it comes with the store. So I'm going to get that off first. And the sticker. Try it this way. If I get tired of it, I might go to the Dremel and sand it off with the Dremel. The hand sanding's no bargain. So one of the things I've been trying to do on the channel is I just always do stuff cheap. I don't have a lot of money. Never have. And I try to do stuff as cheap as possible and try to make it nice without worrying about perfection too much. But you know, I don't have a ton of tools. If you notice, if you watch my other videos, I don't have tons of tools that a lot of the woodworkers would have. And I think a lot of it's not necessary. It makes it easier and it's nice, but it's not necessary. You can do a lot with less tools. So if you don't have a lot of money to spend on tools, you can still do some crafts like this. Have some fun doing wood burning, which is not expensive if you get one of these cheap guys. Again, these are not much money. 15 to 20 bucks at almost any store that sells wood burners, like Lowe's, Amazon, whatever. So this is coming off. It's a little old, not super fast, but it's coming off. The faster speed will take it off quicker. It also shreds the sandpaper right off of this. It's supposed to be used at about 10,000 RPMs in that range. It's way slower, but or else you constantly got to replace this shredded up little piece of sandpaper on here. When you use the burrs, you're supposed to use it like somewhere around 30,000 RPMs on the Dremel. I'm learning as I go. I've not been doing the Dremel a real long time. Got a warm spell here in Kentucky in fall. Had a few days of in the 20s. And I love that because then the bugs go away. Now I got a warm spell in the 70s and they all think it's summer again. All the wasps, Mexican bean beetles, stink bugs are all out bad. When one of them's flying, Mexican bean beetle or a stink bug, you can't tell when it's in the air flying at you if it's a wasp or not. Not a big fan of the wasp stinging you. The red wasp. If you haven't been stung by one, you're not missing anything good. There's a bean beetle right there. So if I'm twitchy, because something landed on me. Alright, so when I first got this Dremel, these little tiny sanding things little rounds that go on the sanding. They go on the end here, and there's a little rubber piece here. And it's got a screw on the end. I didn't know what it was for. I didn't read it. I just grabbed it and started sanding stuff. This goes on here. The idea, this one's kind of chewed up. But the idea is you put it on and it's somewhat loose, like that. And it feels tight until you start sanding on something, it wants to flip off. You've got a screw in the end. As you screw that screw in, it tightens up the rubber, it squeezes the rubber and pushes it out on that little round piece of sandpaper and helps hold it in place. I didn't know that for like a year or two. Did a lot of shaping of some of my other snake sticks with it falling off all the time. And I did it too high in RPM. So I've learned to actually read, watch some other videos of other people doing it, and learned a little better how to do it. Okay, I've got all that stuff off the handle. I try to edit that because I think it's boring to watch me sand off that. I'm just going to put a nickname I like for myself. My wife gave me years ago, and I like it, so I'm going to use this nickname. If you're just starting out, don't push hard, just let the burner work. The longer you keep it, the darker it gets or more passes. I kind of shaped this little end myself. It was a little too sharp. I dulled it some, so it was a little more blunt. It was a little bit too sharp. Didn't like it. Didn't roll good. Just wanted to stick into the wood. So you can do a few passes to make it darker and actually kind of deeper. So that's my nickname my wife gave me. Obviously I like it. Now, I'm gonna do some little designs. When you get these wood burners, they come with a bunch of little pieces, various shapes. You can shape them. They're just like a brass or bronze. You can shape them to be whatever. I've shaped a few over the years to make scales better for me. They got little triangle shapes and patterns on them, and I was going to try something different. Make some patterns on here. Take this off while it's hot. Do you want to touch it? Because you'll be taking a trip to the hospital. I don't know what temperature it is. I haven't looked it up, but I've touched it in a split second of brushing my hand across it. It'll mess you up. It'll burn that wood for you for a minute while it sits there. If you don't like it, you could always sand it off. It's not super deep. You get the idea. I'm gonna go around it. Might come back and burn that a little darker. When you get the idea here, I'll show you again in a minute when it's mostly done. Alright, so that's the idea. Captain Awesome. If you're on a construction site and you've got this tool, it'd be hard for somebody to walk away and say, oh, that's mine. I mean, that's going to stand out. Anybody can go to Lowe's and grab some pink spray paint or white or green, those different colors, and say, hey, I got the same color. You go on a big job site, who knows how many people are going to be there with pink spray paint on their tools. So make yours cool, do that. Then you can oil it or polyurethane it. I think I'm just going to oil this one with the vegetable oil, liquid vegetable oil I've been using on some of my snake sticks, and it'll make it a dark color to be pretty cool. I'm going to think about doing something on the other side, but for now that's the idea, and you can do that yourself and have some custom handles so your stuff doesn't get stolen. You can also use the Dremel that I did earlier. You take the Dremel, you can actually engrave in your plastic power tools. So I've spray painted mine white, which, I mean, I keep them at home mainly. I'm not doing construction anymore for commercial, for anybody else, just my own stuff. This is just to keep mine separate from my boys, but anybody, if you're on a construction site, can come out and take your tools by having white paint on theirs also, get it mixed up, even if it's just an honest mistake. But I work construction long enough to know there's a lot of dishonest people work construction, some of the workers. Anyway, so you can engrave, would be better on the metal here. Engrave your name, your initials, engrave somewhere or all over it, because spray paint just isn't good enough. So it's something to think about. You can engrave in here, but if you wanted to stand out right away, put it right here or up here and engrave it, not too deep, but just carve a little bit, so it's hard for people just to immediately say, well, that's mine, or to pick it up by accident. They can see the difference. So there you go.